follows is a brief construction montage.
Late again.
Limited time only.
Flashback.
While Patchy pulls himself together, let's see how SpongeBob's party is shaping up.
End of flashback. Soon after. Montage.
Previously, yesterday, meanwhile,
Meanwhile.
meanwhile, at the Krusty Krab. Meanwhile, back in the lowlands.
Meanwhile, back on the Patrick Show.
Meanwhile, deep in the kelp forest.
Meanwhile, at the palace of King Poseidon.
Several weeks later. 6 months later. 6 months later.
Later. 4 to 6 days later. 4 to 6 more days later.
The next morning.
Moments later. More moments later. 1 semester later. Graduation day.
1 hour later!
5 minutes later.
80,000 impressions later.
Would you please stop imitating me? It is starting to get very annoying. 3,000 whoop-whoos later. Soon after.
Later. Moments later.
The next morning. Many unbearable hours later.
82 kilometers later.
A little later.
3 hours later. 1 season later. Many secret parties later. Moments later.
1 nap later.
1 very long digestive tract later. 6 months later. 1 pathetic sob story later. Later.
Many minutes later.
3 hours later.
The next evening. 1 operation later.
1 million zillion jillion dillion cotillion times later.
Meanwhile,
The next morning. Later.
1 hour later.
7 months later.
The next Christmas.
Several long days later.
Many toys later.
12 sleepless hours later.
1 beautiful Christmas morning later.
The next morning. The next morning. Many frame building attempts later.
Even more boat building attempts later.
1 day later.
1 humongous meal later.
1 entree later.
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Several bouquets later.
10 hours later.